In this video, we are going to talk about the issue of expensing versus capitalization. This is one of the most crucial issues for accountants, and it can be illustrated as follows. When we spend some money, we are going to credit cash, say with $1,000. Okay, one of the most crucial decisions that an accountant can take, right? When we credit cash with 1,000, one of the most crucial decisions an accountant can take, whether to debit an asset with 1,000 or alternatively, whether to debit an expense with 1,000. Right? Obviously, the outcome is going to be very different in terms of the income statement and the balance sheet as well, right? This over here, the first transaction is called capitalization, or capitalizing an amount on the balance sheet, whereas the second transaction is called expensing an amount in the income statement. Okay, so this is the distinction between capitalization and expensing. The next question is when one versus the other is appropriate. Well, to understand that, you actually have to simply think about the concepts of asset, right, of an asset and expense. By definition, asset assumes future benefit. So if you spend 1,000 but you haven't benefited from this expenditure yet, and you're going to benefit in the future, that's going to be capitalization, right? If you buy inventory, you haven't benefited from inventory yet because you're going to sell it in the future. And in this case, capitalization is appropriate. Whereas if you pay for something you have benefited already in the past, in the current period, for instance, expensing is going to be appropriate, right? There's no future benefit and you have benefited in the current period. That means you generated revenue, and so you have to recognize expense that's going to be matched with that revenue, right? So that's conceptually how you sort of deal with that. In many situations, it's pretty simple, but there are some gray areas where accountants need to estimate what is the amount that should be capitalized and what should be expensed. And actually, many accounting frauds are exactly frauds that revolve around the issue of expensing versus capitalization. So you have to kind of understand it and be aware of this issue. And this is basically the video that tells you the distinction and why it's important, right? Okay, so this is basically all for today. These are just the key takeaways that we learned in the second week. We basically talked about what accrual basis of accounting is, right? And what are the elements of the income statement, and how is income statement constructed, how it links to balance sheet, and so on.